there, and welcome to another episode on the Let's Talk Wellness with Shal podcast. My name is Shalini Tyagaraja. I am a corporate tech leader and a wellness coach. The mission of this podcast is to empower you with knowledge on holistic wellness, where I share my journey and experiences, and I also talk to inspiring individuals from around the globe. Today, I'm very excited to welcome Archana. Archana is a mindfulness teacher and a wellness practitioner dedicated to spreading the healing power of being mindful. Drawing from years of personal practice and teaching experience, she guides individuals to observe thoughts, emotions, and bodily sensations with clarity, calm, and non judgment. Specializing in Yin Yoga, mindfulness meditation, and a practitioner of neuro linguistic programming and Vipassana, she inspires to create a place where mindfulness is a shared language and yoga is a bridge that connects communities and hearts. She is the founder of MYFA Wellness, which is a community supporting holistic well being by helping people cultivate presence, emotional balance, and conscious living, beginning with the breath, body, and everyday movements. Hi, Archana, and welcome.
Hi, Shal. Thank you for inviting. It's lovely being here.
Yes, thank you so much for joining. I know you live here in Seattle as well, so it's really nice to have someone local on the podcast. And I know today is a pretty gloomy day outside in Seattle, and I think I'm more excited about this podcast and everything we're going to talk about better than the rain outside.
Same here. I was looking forward. This is the most exciting thing of this weekend for me.
Awesome. All right. Perfect. So, we'll get started, right? I know the whole topic here is about mindfulness. So, how do you define mindfulness? And why do you think it is such a powerful tool for healing and overall well-being?
So, I define mindfulness personally as a practice which is showing up fully for life. It can be whether I am doing a challenging headstand or sipping a morning tea, having my lunch, or just breathing. It is something which can be applied in every aspect of life because mindfulness is all about being present at the moment. For me, it is a powerful tool because it works healing at a very deeper level, because it connects the mind and body and brings us up to the present moment. So, when we stop worrying about the past or the future, our nervous system finally gets the safety signal and then it needs to rest and reset. That turns from doing into being. So that's why I use the term being mindful. And that's where the real wellness begins.
Wow, I love that. And I think it's so important because today we're always chasing the next thing and everybody's in this rat race, right? So there's never like this quiet, dull moment. I wouldn't even say dull moment, but a moment to pause. I
Yes.
think is so rare. So that's why I think this topic is so relevant, especially right now at this moment. So yeah, thank you. I love that explanation of, mindfulness and just being aware because I think a lot of people feel mindfulness is something you need to practice, you need to be great at, and you need to, achieve this over time, right? But seems like, I mean, just based on what you explained, it's not that.
It's a natural thing which is happening with us all the time. It's just like we are forgetting to observe it. So I teach that technique how to observe so that people come back. It is a very basic thing in us. It's like our second nature. But just with all the chaos going around, people sometimes just miss it.
Exactly. I think it's the awareness. So I love it that you're teaching the community and everybody around, bringing that awareness to yourself, right? To your body, to your mind, to everything. So, yeah, awesome. So, with that, the next question is, you often speak about allowing thoughts and emotions to arise without judgment. So, why is this non-judgmental awareness so transformative?
Okay, that's a very nice question, and I would love to answer this. So, judgment is often, and I would say most of the times, heavier than the emotion itself. When we judge our feelings, we add a second layer of suffering to the original experience. So, even if something is physical, when we add a judgment to it through the mental, we increase the suffering far more than it actually is. So, non judgment awareness is a transformative because it breaks that cycle. It allows us to step back and become the observer rather than the critic. So, when we stop fighting what is happening, we stop wasting energy on resistance, and that energy can finally be used for us for our healing. So, think of it like a balancing yoga pose. If you wobble and immediately think, I'm bad at this, your system automatically tenses up and we lose the control in that posture. But if I can notice the wobble without judging it, my body naturally self corrects and holds that posture better. So life is just the same. So that inner critic which we get or the judgment which we get didn't came appear out of nowhere. There's a reason for that also. Every emotion, it has a history behind it. It likely formed most of the times what I have observed to protect, to push, and to keep us safe. Over time, it can grow louder than it needs to be. But the good news is this voice isn't fixed. It can soften, it can change, and it can learn a kinder way of speaking. Mindfulness meditation is that practice that gently explores how to relate differently to that inner voice with awareness and compassion. It's not about fixing or forcing change. It's about listening more closely and responding with more compassion and understanding. I hope that gives that answer, or you let me know.
No, no, that's a great way of explanation. I'm just sorry, as you're talking, I'm just trying to think through so many different words that came up. One, I mean, I heard, becoming the observer, right? Because in a lot of meditation, I've heard, right, in a lot of sessions, how do you become the observer of the thoughts? Because again, we're all human, monkey mind, thoughts are going to keep coming, right? But when you meditate, and people always say, eventually over practice you become the observer. It's not like you're stopping the thoughts, right? So I know you mentioned becoming that observer. So yeah, so that was
So that's a very interesting thing when you say monkey mind. Generally, people think it like in a very, you know, not in a very serious way, monkey mind. But
yeah.
that's, we have to understand that's the nature of the mind. So the mind is the fastest thing which moves, and it has a characteristics to move. Now, the same characteristics can be used in certain type of meditations. So there are techniques, especially the ones which I teach, which uses the characteristics of this monkey mind, which is present in all of us, you know, to work in our favor through the mindfulness practice.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's awesome. And also the other point, I think you mentioned about negative conditioning, right? Because when you keep telling yourself,
Mm,
recently it was interesting, I was reading some study about how important it is to constantly tell yourself
mm.
positive things, even for the smallest thing, because that is how you're training your brain, which obviously impacts everything else.
Yes, your body listens to you very, very closely. So it's, yeah, that's the first thing I start telling my students whenever they start the session. They will come like, oh, I have this problem, I can do that, I can do this. I said, just stop telling that. Tell it is difficult, or you're improving here, or you're changing for better here. Because what we talk to ourselves about us, that affects us the most, more than anything else.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. No, that's an awesome explanation. Thank you. So
Well,
the next question is, how does mindfulness help people
mm.
sit with difficult emotions or bodily sensations rather than suppress or just avoid them?
Mm. So suppression is like, it's like slamming the door on an unwanted guest, but the guest just keep knocking louder. Mindfulness, surprisingly, it may sound different to people, that it teaches us to open that door. So, why I'm explaining this to you? When we sit with difficult emotions, we aren't inviting them to move in forever. We are just acknowledging they are here. Accepting is very powerful. Not every situation will be ideal or will be in our control or how we desired. We cannot sometimes change it also. But once you start accepting, you start thinking differently. Suppose by treating sadness, anxiety, or any physical pain also, just as a temporary visitors, we reduce the fear that usually makes us run away from the situation. We mostly avoid difficult emotions because we are afraid they will overwhelm us. The mindfulness changes the game by turning us into observer. So instead of being the anxiety, you become the person noticing the anxiety. It may seem difficult at every point or initially, but it's just a practice. It didn't came to me also naturally. I have to practice it. I have to practice it every day. It became like part of my regular habits. That tiny bit of distance is all you need to stop running and start healing. It's like we have to feel it to heal it, whatever comes our way. So you have to feel it, and you, with continuous practice through different techniques, you learn yourself to notice it and accept it. Then, obviously, if there is a problem or there is a situation where you have to take a stand or you have to take some actions, we will do it, but it will be in a better way, I would say, with less harm done to ourselves.
Mm. So it's almost like reacting and responding,
Yes.
right? Reacting versus
Yeah,
responding.
yeah, that's a huge power, you know. I mean, if you see the most powerful people in the world, their biggest power is their ability to manage their reactions.
Yeah.
So that is what it is. And it starts with smallest things and it is practiced. You have to train the monkey mind. That's all.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, managing emotions is it's never easy, right? I mean, I know again, as a mom, now the kids are much older, but I know
Mhm.
going through that phase, right?
Yeah.
It was so hard to manage, just day to day work, home, kids. You have so
Mm,
many emotions and you
mm,
don't know where to bring up your frustrations. You don't know where to vent, right? And anyway, that was also, I think, a point in my life where yoga and meditation came into my life to actually help me,
mm,
which I mean, obviously, I'm very grateful for because it was a tool to at least find that calmness of some sort, right? Because otherwise it was just so difficult to manage emotions. I mean, it still is. It's not like, I mean, every day I think is like a daily learning, lesson, right? Because life is such. So I still feel like, every day there's something new to learn.
yeah.
So
Emotions is part of our system. I mean, the emotional intelligence is something which is still getting a lot of research. We still have not much of information about it, but it's something which people are finally, getting into, and it's a big asset, big power. I mean, I sometimes find surprising when people say, "Oh, don't be sensitive, don't be emotional." I said, "No, there's nothing wrong in it." But the thing is how I associate it with my reaction, or you can judge emotionally also. It's not always logical, but emotions and logics, for me, it has to go hand in hand, right? And I think it's a very good power we have, but also needs, any power, can be misused or can be overused or can be exploited. So we have to find that way, how to make the best version of it.
So I think, Archana, like I guess, as we're talking through this, I'm just thinking about just a real example today, right? Because I speak to a lot of people, obviously, who've been impacted, in the market right now, with the jobs, there's so much insecurity. There is, a feeling of, again, obviously there's a financial aspect, but there's also the emotional and
Mm,
just understanding your own identity, right? Because suddenly you feel like something that you've been holding on to for many years, right? A job is kind of suddenly just uprooted, right? And
Yes.
you just don't know what that is, what's your identity, how do you react, that emotion, all of it. So how can you help somebody who's maybe going through this at this moment right now and maybe listening to us?
So this is definitely, I would not say it's an easy situation to be, and it is definitely a hard thing. And just talking or listening won't help. There has to be certain actions. Okay. So what I would say, even if things like this, what I teach or other wellness course teaches, it doesn't affect you directly, but it will give you some more strength and energy, and also help as a being a catalyst of your mental strength. So something like mindfulness, which everybody can do, can be as simple as taking a few deep breaths, feeling the breath, feeling the texture of the air, the smell of the atmosphere, and being present in the moment. So what is happening if because I'm also going through that phase. So like when I'm not at job, I'm just thinking about job all the time. So if I can just take a step back even for 5 minutes, if my mind I can take it back and just start feeling my breath, observing the breath, or just scanning my body, feeling every part of my body. So the mind suddenly gets distracted from there, right? Even a short distraction is very powerful from something negative, you know. And when I know, like, okay, this thing is not happening and I don't know what to do, I don't have a solution yet to it. So I start doing a practice like this. At least it will keep me calmer and better, because something like this, it doesn't just affect us mentally, it affects us physically also, because your mind and body is connected, right? It drains a lot of energy, right? But at this point, you need that energy. You need that boost of energy more than ever, because this is a tough time in your life. So we have to do things which can make us feel more energetic and avoid things which harms us. I always tell people, don't think you have to do something great or major in life to feel good and healthy. First thing you have to do is avoid what harms us. And in today's time, everybody's know what is harmful, starting from a physical level to my body and other things. So wherever it can be avoided, try to avoid it as much as possible. And I'm always very happy to invite everybody to enjoy the benefits of mindfulness in a supportive environment. And recently, I started some free sessions, which is suitable for all levels. Everybody can try it. And details can be found on my Instagram and both LinkedIn page, which is on MYFA Wellness. So I created this community which is perfect for all who wants to relax and rejuvenate by being mindful, and also start to experience it. Because once you start being guided by somebody, being told by somebody to sit and do this, then it becomes easier, to focus on that rather than starting just by your own. That's why guided meditations are so powerful. So I thought like it should be my contribution to this community, which I can start so that anybody, whoever wants, when they're comfortable, they can join and, get the benefit out of it.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing. So I think I know later, we'll kind of have you share the information and where they can reach out. But I think it's awesome that you mentioned this, because I feel like the breath, pranayama, right, all of this, right, just really helps us, I think, ground ourselves with reality, because I feel like a lot of these things are just going to be different phases in life, right? There's always going to be, the very good phases versus the not so good phases. It's never always a rosy path, right? Nobody is going to
Yeah.
be this perfect, like, wow, I'm just 100%, in every phase of life.
Hmm.
So, thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. Where, at this time, if anyone is going through this, basically just take a pause, just realize this moment, everything, at least this is a phase that I've heard a lot, where, everything is temporary, right?
Yeah.
So this is a transient phase and journey of life, right? So nothing lasts forever. So I
Yeah.
think it's important to recognize that.
Yes. Also, one more thing I tell people is just take a walk in the nature. It has a lot of power, a lot of positive power. When you have trees, mountains, rivers, anything which is there in nature, which is not man-made, when you're around that, it gives you a lot of strength and it does a detox on its own, which people don't realize. That's why when you go for a walk and come back, you feel so nice, you breathe that fresh air, your blood circulation starts going. It is simple thing which anybody should be able to do. Even if you need some assistant, take that and do it. It's very important. It's like part of our evolution. I think a lot of problem is happening because people have stopped moving and walking. And I always tell them, whatever exercise and yoga you do, don't forget to do your walk. So that's something also, people can do whenever they feel like.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. So I think that actually leads us to the next question. Can you explain how mindfulness begins with simple practices like awareness of breath, food, walking, how these small shifts can actually create deeper change?
Hmm. So mindfulness starts exactly where you are. So by bringing awareness to simple everyday acts like sensation of your breath, taste of your food, your rhythm of walking, you're training your brain to stay in the present moment. These small shifts create deeper changes because they build mental power over time. So, when you practice being present during the easy moments, like walking, you are much better equipped to stay concentrated and non judgmental during the difficult moments, also. So, it is just like you are used to it. So, I'm used to being mindful in a relaxed way, also. When the difficult time comes, even if the intensity may differ, but since it's a practice for me, it will still work. It's like walking, right? I am used to walking. So if some animals come towards me and I have to run, I can still run because I am used to walking. But if I just don't move, don't walk, then what?
Yeah, I think it's conditioning, right?
Yes.
And again, it's all practice, discipline, right? All of this, I feel like anything actually for that matter is what you do over time, right? It's nothing is like a magic wand. Just because you walk one day, it's not going to be like magically this, thing that's going to change. But yes, if you walk daily for like, I don't know, 30 days or 60 days, there is a shift, there is a change, right? So I think definitely, I think it's just conditioning the mind and body, I think is kind of
So
very
at this, I would like to quote a very interesting thing which I learnt in my Vipassana meditation. This was said by Mr. S.N. Goenka, who spread this Vipassana all over the world. So he told a very interesting thing like your system is like a mobile. You have to charge it daily, but you don't have to do anything to get it to drain out that charge. It just happens like a mobile. It just loses its battery every day. You don't do anything to just because it's on, right? But I need to charge the mobile every day, and that's just it. I could relate it so much. It's the same thing with us. It's not that I'm practicing yoga for last 10 years or teaching it doesn't mean I can stop doing it. I still have to do it every day to keep the practice going, to keep my energy level going. So
that's
that's
true.
one thing.
I love that because I think my yoga teacher also tells me that, you're a student every day. So it's,
Yes,
you're never like done or, that because there's a learning moment all the time,
yes,
right? So, I mean, yeah, I totally appreciate that comment, but I love that the whole cell phone analogy because I think that's actually a good one.
yeah,
Yep, yep. It's simple but good, easy to understand.
yeah.
So, yeah. All right. So then, you specialize in yoga, mindful meditation. So how does this slow, more introspective like practices support emotional release and nervous system regulation?
So Yin Yoga is a Pratyahara practices, which is more a passive way of doing it. So it primarily activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which helps a lot to people to rest and recover. So through the extended passive stretching techniques in Yin, the body receives safety signals. This activates our vagus nerve, and then it responds to relaxation through relaxed mind, deeper breathing, and decreased stress hormone levels. So it is a very deep practice. It is something which stretches just not your muscles, but it goes very deeper all the way to your tendons, ligaments, and joints. And this, we don't just store flesh and bones in our body, we store a lot of emotions, uh, good emotions, bad emotions like fear, trauma, and some are like unconscious, we just don't know. So when you do this deep immersive practices, it helps to break those things, those patterns. It goes very deep into our body and just suddenly, I've seen people in my Yin Yoga class suddenly crying and they telling me like they don't know the reason they're crying. So some emotions in them has just, got released. So sometimes we just don't know, but it works. So that's why I really love this practice and I love to teach it, across other than the Hatha and Vinyasa practice because it is working at using the body, but at a very deeper level.
Yeah, because I feel like again, as we discussed, we're in this fast-paced world. So everybody wants instant results. Everybody wants everything to be so fast. So everybody goes to this vinyasa class or hot yoga class because I just want to see results like right away, right? Like something magical is just going to happen. And so I've heard this a lot, which is, oh, yin yoga is like this slow, it's kind of this boring thing. I'm not sure if I'm going to really, lose weight. And because, people associate yoga with, again, weight loss or just quick, fast results. But I think again, yin is so important, just the pause that we keep talking about, right? Because today nobody takes that time to pause, but it's so important and it's not about running faster.
See, Hatha and Vinyasa are obviously very important because it's part of the asana thing, but yin complements it. So even when I'm activating, I have to also relax. And it's very hard to lose weight if your body is not relaxed. So I see a lot of people, trying to work hard and still not losing weight. Then they start, cutting off their diet. I mean, you have to eat healthy. You don't have to eat less. And also your system has to be relaxed for you to, boost your weight loss process. So eventually with time, it is very helpful. And who doesn't feeling relaxed? Like I do it like, for me, it is like my self therapy, sometimes when I'm just stressed out, I just don't feel good. I just do it like, it's just, it is instant. It just makes you feel good. And just you have to start, give it some time, and you will start to notice it on your own.
Yeah. Right. So with that, how do your NLP and emotional intelligence practices complement mindfulness in helping people reframe thoughts and respond more consciously?
Can you repeat that? That was
Sure, sure.
about NLP, right? You said.
Yeah, exactly. So how do NLP and emotional intelligence practices
Mm-hmm.
complement mindfulness, right? And help people reframe their thoughts and, respond more consciously.
Okay,
And
okay.
maybe I'm going to also take another step there. Like maybe if you can help the audience understand what is NLP.
Hmm. So NLP is basically it's a branch of psychology, which is called known as neuro-linguistic programming. So it's a different study altogether, which is very common practice to a lot of instructors because it complements our yoga teaching and all. So NLP has very scientific tools, One thing which I liked NLP because it is very scientific, it is also somewhere logical. And uh, in today's time, if I'm approaching a stranger, if I can, explain them something logically, their chances of trusting me or convincing my technique is higher. Because the logical mind needs that, conviction, that trust. And then only you can go deeper into your subconscious or unconscious. So the conscious logical mind, for training it, NLP I found is a very powerful tool. So it has a lot of different techniques and tool for managing emotions. And while mindfulness teaches us to experience that emotions without being overwhelmed by them. So for me, what I see, this combination is particularly effective as it equips us with strategies to deal with challenging emotions in a balanced and healthy way, which is logical, which is convincing, which doesn't sounds like mystic or whatnot,
Yeah.
and people can easily adapt to it.
Got it. Okay. Awesome. Wow, I think we're almost at time, but I'm gonna have one last question. So, for somebody new to mindfulness, what is one simple daily practice they can start today?
So, as I mentioned previously, simplest thing is to go out in the nature to walk. It will give you a lot of energy. When you're eating your food, just focus on eating, not on other distractions. And chew your food, enjoy the taste of the food, feel the flavors, and eat it without any TV or any mobile type of distractions. And yes, when you come to deeper practices like breathing practice, which starts from breath awareness, that is the first step of meditation. Just like right now, I can just close my eyes and feel my breath. I'm doing nothing else than just focusing the mind on my breath. So, this I feel anyone and everybody should be able to do it, right?
And
And
anywhere.
yes, anywhere. And it starts from there, you know, it just starts from there. So, you are giving a new type of training to the mind. Like, suppose I want to be a gym instructor, I have to first step is to first go to the gym, start with some light exercises, right? I will not go and straight do a deadlift or a pull up, you know. So I will start slow, you know, I will just do something. I will walk around in the gym, lift some light weights, do some, you know, dumbbells or just do some treadmill. It's like that. So you start to, I always say, don't give your system a shock, you know, because anything new to the system is new. You know, it is a stranger. Even if the stranger is nice, it is a stranger to the system. The system will take time, you know, to, you know, like the stranger and, you know, understand that it is good for them. So start slow, and then you know you can find instructors. There are a lot of certified instructors, amazing instructors, with whom you can sit and do better practices, which will be guided. Because once you have started the guided practices, then it starts to go very deeply and it's very, very structured. It is designed to succeed. Okay, it is that's why it is so powerful, and so many people in the world in today's time is doing. Every powerful person, so many influential people, everybody talks about meditations. Why? Because it, if you're doing it in a structured way, in a guided way, it is designed to succeed and everybody will get that success. How much, in what time, that is different. But if I'm putting my effort into it, uh, this is a world which will give you back more. That's what I have received. I have received a lot, and I'm so grateful to it. And I believe like when you receive, you have to give. So I also like to give this knowledge, share this with everybody else through my teachings.
Yeah, perfect. Now that's an awesome segue to the next question, which is, Archana, do you want to share with everybody where they can find you, where they can reach out on Instagram, and how do they contact if they have any questions or want to join any of your sessions?
Yeah, sure. I'm happy to share that. So, my brand, as you know, I founded MYFA Wellness, which is a community designed for people to live being mindful way and being more supportive and, you know, compassionate towards each other. So, this name itself, MYFA Wellness, you can find on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and I'm available in all these platforms. And I also post all my classes details. I've started some free sessions recently so that everybody can come and experience it and feel relaxed. Especially, I'm doing a specialized session for restful sleep at night, which is an half an hour session. So if people are doing it before going to bed, it helps them sleep better and recover better. So yeah, I'm happy to see everybody. They can just join me at my page, MyFA Wellness, and all the platforms. and connect with me, can DM me over there, and I will respond at my earliest.
Thank you. And just for the audience, MYFA Wellness is MYFA. So MYFA Wellness. So
Yes. Thank you,
yes,
Shah.
no worries. Thank you so much, Archana. I learned so much today. I mean, this is a joy. I think this is a topic we can talk forever. But I know we've kind of come to our time here. But I really appreciate you taking the time today and sharing this wealth of knowledge. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Shal. It was lovely being here. I just want to spread this knowledge to everybody because I feel every human deserves to be mindful and happy. So it all starts from there.
Absolutely. Every small step, I think, has ripple effects in the community. So thank you. Thank you for doing what you're doing.
Thanks again.